You're busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. We all have a lot of things going on in our life, and life can get overwhelming at times. It's really difficult to balance between the sacrifices we make for our family versus the things that we have to do to better society and better the people around us. It's actually not an easy task. As a man, there's a lot of things and a lot of decision matrices that you run into where you're like, I want to do this because it's better for me financially. It's better for me, for my family financially. At the same time, there are commitments that we make where we want to do what's right and be there for our families. And to balance all that, it's really hard being a man. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Matt Kim podcast. I am your host, Matt Kim, joined by my co-host, Mr. Peter Saddington.
What's up, SARS? You know what to do. It's time to check in. So smash the like button and go to the comments below and say check in SAR. It is time. We need to hit 500 on this episode. It's the Matt Kim podcast. What's up, brother?
Dude, do you know how many people check in SAR all the time? It's amazing.
You got to check in SAR right now. Checking in SAR. Do it bigly.
It's literally my favorite part of the day when I get to go through the comment section of our full pod and it's just chicken and SAR, chicken and SAR, chicken and SAR, chicken and SAR. Sorry, I'm checking in. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Absolutely. We have many SARs out there and our hearts go out to all of you guys. Welcome to the Matt Kim podcast. We are glad you're here. Smash the like button. It is a great day to be alive.
Can I start right off the top? We have a member of our community, someone that watches the pod, and he sent me an email and he said, Matt, I would like to maybe sponsor on the pod. I said, what is it? He said, we do like Korean meats for sale.
Say less.
And I was like, oh, I'm interested.
I'm interested.
And he said, let me just send you a box of what I do.
Oh, we like that.
And if it's good, and if you like it, let's have a conversation.
Yes.
I said, cool. Send me some stuff. He sent us this box packed in ice of like all this beef and pork and pre-made and pre-marinated beefs and porks and pork belly and these fried rices. And it was so much food.
Oh, so good.
And we just cooked it up a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And we ate it. And it is phenomenal.
It is fantastic. So we have to give a shout out. Thank you so much. We don't get any sponsorship money in the door, but we will take free airdrops and packages.
Yes. This was maybe the best airdrop we could get. So cookoutmeats.com.
Cookoutmeats.com.
Cookoutmeats.com. Supporter of the pod, watches the pod, hangs out in our comment section, and airdrops meat.
Well, you have to pay. But we had the privilege of having a taste menagerie in our mouths, man. It was absolutely fantastic. And we had the blessing of one of our local companies and one of our local restaurants cook it up for us because we love supporting local businesses. And we partook in that amazing food with the owners. So that was extra special.
It was really good. It comes prepackaged and it's the type of meat that you would put on the grill when you're at home. Cookoutmeats.com. It was really good. And my daughter, she smashed.
Did she crush it?
She loved it.
Well, I mean, if you like Korean barbecue, so we should be specific. He sent us a lot of Korean barbecue-esque type of stuff, and it was fantastic.
So not a paid sponsored post. Just want to call it out because, number one, we appreciate you. Number two, I was like, man, if it's not good, what do we say? Because that's always like the nervous part, right? Like, what if he sends it? It's not good.
Brother's got to eat, though. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we'll pay.
All right, let's try the kalbi first.
너무 맛있어. 너무 맛있어. I feel like we need to cut this. It's okay. 괜찮아.
Dude, really good.
맛있지?
Oh, bro, it's really good. Dude, if you got this at home, maybe you threw it on your grill at home, on like a Saturday night or like a sporting event, wherever. Dude, I would not be upset.
Nope, it's good. Worked out.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's really good.
All right. Let's try this on this side. Ready? Pork belly. Give it a little salt and pepper, or a little sesame salt and salt, sesame oil and salt. 맛있지. Little pepper. Dude, I think it's good.
Mana.
I would totally rock this.
It was phenomenal.
It was great.
Even my wife was like, "Hey, is this place local? Can we like get more? Because it's better than the local grocery store."
Oh, for sure.
And she was like, "Where can we get more?" And I was like, "We got to order online." She's like, "Okay, let's like, what's the website? I'm gonna order it.
Well, why don't you drop the website again, Matt?
Cookoutmeats.com.
Cookoutmeats.com. Check it
So
out,
we'll
guys.
leave a link. We want to help out people who support us. We want to help support you also. So definitely go check it out. I'm telling you, it was phenomenal.
Yes, and if there are any vendors out there of underwears, we need new ones. So you can send us underwear. I'm a large, 42 waist.
Are you?
Yeah. Am I 42 or no? I'm a 32. Dude, I just blew myself. I think I'm a 34 or something like that. Shit, I don't even know.
All right, now we're just making up numbers.
Yeah, I'm not that fat, guys.
But if you're watching, Peter needs new underwear, so we'll take some of that too.
We'll take it, guys. Free undies, man. You can't. Free undies is perfect because you don't need to. You don't need to care about what they look like. They don't need to have special. We're dudes, right? Just tidy whities are quite fine.
I don't do the tighty whitey thing, by the way.
Wait. We have to talk about this. When you were in middle school, high school, it was about boxers, right?
Yes.
Because that was the cool thing to do. And then,
it's good for your balls because you gotta let them breathe.
You wouldn't want in high school. You didn't want anything.
No,
to
you gotta let them breathe, man.
No, you wanted them. Yeah, you wanted them to breathe.
Yes.
Yes, we agree. In middle school, high school, you wanted the balls to breathe. As you got into college, though, there was this transition from the boxer briefs to like boxers to boxer briefs, where they're a little bit tighter, right?
Well,
Because you need that support when you're an older man.
I used to play a lot of basketball. I used to run a lot. So
You can't be swinging your slang all over the place.
So when I'm running or whatever else, my junk would be just like bouncing around. I was like, all right, I need some more support here.
Exactly.
I need something to hold this
Exactly.
in.
So you went from boxers to boxer briefs, and now that we're in our 40s, we can completely be okay with tighty whities because an old man got to do what an old man got to do.
This conversation is not a part of the Cookout Meats part, by the way. All right, separate conversation.
Go to mattkimpodcast.com or the Discord or the Telegram or the WeChat, and you can check us out and make sure that you let us know that you are an underwear vendor, guys. We are asking for it now.
Or how about boxer briefs, SAR, or tighty whitey, SAR?
Yes, vote on it. If you're in the comment sections, first off, you got to smash the like button. Second, you got to check in. And third, you got to tell us what type of undies do the SARs wear. I think that's important. Knowing what the SARs wear is indicative of their IQ.
Is that a thing? I'm like cognitively trying to figure that out. If that even makes sense.
I just made that up. Let's go, guys.
Well, welcome to the show. We had a very interesting week, and I want to self-promote if I can real quickly.
Well, fair enough.
Because it's been, I think, nonstop. This is all I've been doing for the last week. And people are like, well, I want to talk about the news. And I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on in the news right now.
He's been grinding, guys. He's been building something absolutely fantastic with traction, by the way.
Yes, I've been in this kind of launch grind mode, which is kind of that moment that you start anything brand new and it takes up 120, 130% of your focus. And I am at a way past time capacity, meaning that if I could have 4 more hours in the day, I would use those 2.
Totally.
I wish I could get 4. I think I'm sleeping an average like 4 hours a night right now.
I was telling Matt when he was telling me about it before the podcast started, I was like, welcome to my life, man. That's how I'm running all the time. 16, 20-hour days, guys. That's how we do it. If you want to build stuff from nothing, you got to grind away.
So we started a new website. It's starting as a website. It's going to become an app. It's called Soj.
How do you spell it?
soj.ooO.
S-O-J.
I did not even know OOO was a extension.
I had to look it up. It actually doesn't mean anything, which actually makes it useful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right? I'm thinking about getting a .ooO domain because it's just cool.
You just want one now.
So it's soj.ooO, Soju. So tell us about this application, Matt.
So the idea started when we were thinking about this idea of a friend of mine, King Andrew, who we'll talk about a little bit. I don't want to tell his whole story about King Andrew, and we've mentioned in passing on the pod before. King Andrew and I were having this conversation about memory hole. I really believe that the memory holding of topics and issues that we care about is intentional. We touched on this last week.
And we have evidence that our topics that we have talked about have been clearly memory hold.
They take issues that we want to talk about and they manipulate the algorithms in order to push them down so that you forget about them. And the things that we actually want to talk about, they disappear.
Yeah. And so and two things happen. Number one, we're frankly no longer incentivized to talk about such topics. And number two, those topics never get the light of day that they deserve because the topics that we're talking about are far more superior to whether Travis Kelce is going to be dumping Taylor Swift today. Like, that is not a germane or important topic to ever know about or have in your brain. And so there's an imbalance that has happened in the world when it comes to social and content, and we clearly have been victim of these memory hole issues.
And if the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce controversy or romance or bromance, if that is important to you and you want to talk about it, and enough people want to talk about it, then it's fair that it makes the top. Because this is what the people decide to talk about.
Do they decide, or is it promoted by the powers that be?
That's what I'm saying. The people at top should not dictate what we talk about. We, the people, should dictate what we talk about.
Your logic is sound.
I feel like if you go into a social media app, actually going into a social media app, it's like going into another world or another country. They operate as such. They control the economies. They control the conversation. They control the logistics. They control the connections between people. You are entering literally somebody's world.
Yes, and most importantly, the monetary incentives in marketplace of that place.
And why do we have to ask permission on how we act in other people's worlds? We are a citizen of the world. We are a citizen of YouTube. We are a citizen of X. We are a citizen of Meta. But yet they decide unilaterally everything about how we live.
Yes, and at some level, they have some permission to do that because there's the fine print that nobody read that states that they have the ability to do such things. However, it is the gray areas, right, that they're memory holding topics. It's the gray areas of what is appropriate and what is not. And what we find often is we are on the wrong side of their opinions. And that gray area causes the friction that we've so very much struggled with over the last couple of years.
They weaponize their algorithm to mold the world according to their own bias.
Yes. It is their world. It is their world.
Therefore, we thought that the only solution to that is to create a world that is actually democratic.
Tell me
An
more.
online world that's actually democratic. Because we think about this idea of how do you fix a broken system? But the reality is that you can't. This is their system, their world. We are just living in it. And it is antithesis to what we promote as values, but yet we all associate with it.
Yes.
The only way to solve that is actually to create a system where it is democratically run, that is more democratized in the way that it works, that the people's voice actually matters. Because I think that's how, if I were to build a country, that's what I would do. I want the people to have a say in what things happen, how it works, and what they care about is what the leadership care about, not what the leadership cares about do the people care about.
And so if you were to create a country as a benevolent dictator, you, Matt Kim, would want to ensure that what the populace is discussing and what the population is talking about rises to the top so that you, as the benevolent dictator, would know exactly what is being considered and what you should consider and care about as well. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, in the United States here, we live in something called a representative democracy, right? We elect people to make decisions on our behalf. And the things that we as people, we as the citizens care about and the things that we discuss, these are the things that they should be working on. That's how this government is supposed to work.
Oh,
But it's not.
Are you saying that the people that are surviving on our tax money, the people that are public servants that are supposed to be working for us, should actually get their work orders from us?
Crazy idea.
Novel idea, Matt. That's amazing that you would hire someone with your money and you would have the ability to tell them what to do. Wow, fascinating economic equation.
So obviously, seeing all these irregularities in society, seeing all these issues, the solution was to build something that mimics the idea of freedom, mimics the idea of a decentralized world, mimic the idea of actual democracy and discussion where the ideas and what people want to happen can actually happen.
So what you're saying is you cannot change the behemoth technology platforms from within. It's kind of like the option of whether we put a Band-Aid on it, whether we put sutures on it, or we just do amputation.
Correct.
You're saying we can't do Band-Aids, we can't do sutures, stitches, we just need to amputate and roll our own?
Not even amputate. We are no intent on beating TikTok or competing with TikTok or competing with Instagram or competing with X or competing with Reddit. They are in their own lane. You do whatever they want. We have no care whatsoever. These tech oligarchs and billionaires and, these hedge funds, do whatever you want to do. I don't care at all. We're just going to create our version in which we think it's supposed to be done.
Okay.
Right? Do what you want. They will always exist. They have unlimited money.
So you wouldn't consider yourself a competitor?
No,
but
not at
you
all.
Just consider yourself, and I'm not trying to cheapen anything here, but there are people that are thinking about this. So you're not a competitor, you're an alternative.
Correct.
Okay, so tell us about this alternative and why the namesake of soju is so apropos and so appropriate for this type of idea.
Well, there's a lot of people going, soju? You really needed the soju? I'm like, yeah, we did.
I mean, there clearly needs to be some unpacking of that cultural nuance here, right?
But soju is the number one consumed by volume alcohol in the world.
It's actually cheaper than water.
And it is everywhere. And we call the communities, instead of calling them subreddits, instead of calling them groups, instead of calling them
threads,
subreddits or whatever,
Yeah.
we call them pochas.
Pochas.
A pocha, it comes from a pojangmacha, which is pretty much in every street in Korea. They're typically blue tents, and that's where you get really cheap food.
Yep.
Anyone can go at any given time of day, pretty much 24 hours a day. And if you want to do business, maybe you go to a nice bar.
Yeah.
If you want to meet your friends, maybe you go to like a nice restaurant. If you want to just sit down, have a conversation, and pour out your heart, and you don't care where you are, and you just need to do it, you go to the pojangmacha.
This is true, and let me add a little bit of color. Right, these pochas, these are street vendors in Korea, and they're on the side of the road. I mean, you can find street vendors in any type of culture, but what is specifically unique, and Matt and I have traveled the world, so we've seen many of these street vendors. What is distinctly unique about Korea and these street vendors and these pochas is it truly is that. Is that if you want to go business, go to a nice restaurant. You want to hang out with your homies, go to a bar. But if you just need a 3 a.m. snack, with random people on the street who are in the same position that you are, they just want food, they just want company. I'll tell you, some of the most profound conversations, and dare I say, life change can actually happen in these small little micro communities. And I love that aspect because we live in a digital world, where so much is no longer high touch. We're not touching skin. We're not meeting people. We're not hanging out. We're not, frankly, talking about the things that matter. And the things that I've loved, and I probably could go back here and get ultra revealing here, and I won't. But let's just say I have had multiple experiences on the street vendors late at night in Seoul, in Korea. And those conversations are conversations that I'll never forget. Worth it.
Worth it. I think it's kind of a cool idea. And people say, well, you could have a better name. And I'll say, look, we all joined a Chinese app called TikTok.
We all also joined a company called Twitter.
Yes.
Like, get over yourself.
Like, the name actually doesn't matter. The name ends up being meaningless if the platform provides utility.
So tell me, Matt, if I were to join, excuse me, if I were to join Soju, soj.ooO, if I were to join Soju, what would I do there and what would I see there?
So it is a cross between Reddit and X. It is more discussion focused. So you won't see people say, oh, like, how about Gab? No, like Gab is really media focused. We are more discussion focused. So you'll see more text than you do see pictures and video, although we do allow picture and video. It's really a place where people can have conversation, discussions. Certain topics may go down but come back up. Things just never go away. And everything's a static page, meaning that we should actually crawl the search engines really well.
Right.
Because it's all text.
Right.
Yeah. So if you want to put an idea out there, let people engage with it, let people talk about it, let people provide context to it. We've had people start certain discussions and people will fill in other research underneath it around said topic. So it ends up being this collective mind of a depository of research on a certain topic. For example, you know, like, I don't know, Elon Musk. There's a lot of Elon Musk going on in there. You know,
well, what's great is we heard of this application years ago called Public Square. It failed, right? And what you have here with Soju is, I think, a better representation of it without all the flashbang, without all the fanfare, without all the A16Z and institutional investors and private equity people and all the bigwigs, right? It's just a town square at a micro level where we can have these pocha conversations and topical conversations, and people can vote on them and see whether they're worth continuing to discuss and worth continuing to unpack. And so it's a great way to see a slew of different topics, but at the same time, you have the ability to upvote those that matter to you.
we call them bumps, and it's reminiscent of the message board days where you want your topic back up, so you bump it to the top.
Bump it to the top.
So we don't have an AI-driven algorithm. What we do have is a human logic system based on community engagement. So the topics that are most often talked about or engaged with, those are the ones that rise. And we have a few different levers in which so that you can sort through. But that's basically the premise of it, that we want everything to be human-centric, not AI-driven.
And what I like about it is very MVP. Right, it's minimum viable product.
Yes,
right. It's not. There's no feature bloat. There's no heavy admin options. There's not all the tweaks and little functions and features that you might be used to from a Reddit or a Discord or a Slack or any type of content-based system. But what it does well is it focuses on the conversation, and that's what I appreciate the most.
And there are features that we're right now. It is starting as a website because we're constantly tweaking. If anyone joined at our when we first opened up just a little bit, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, it is very different than today. We didn't have a notification bell then. We didn't have the ability to pin posts. We didn't have the ability to see a preview. We didn't have an ability. There's a lot of things that were not there that we've added. So it's been 3 days of constant updates. So if you go on the site and you're like, well, it was down. It literally goes down maybe 5 times a day for 30 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
Because every single time it goes down, it's because we're pushing a new update.
Well, you're actively building.
We have about, I think, 20 or 30 updates in 4 days.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And people are like, well, why didn't you decentralize it? I'm like, well, this is exactly why we didn't decentralize it.
Because it would be even slower to fix.
Because people say, well, isn't that what Nostr does? Well, yes, it is. It is a problem that Nostr is trying to solve. However, because Nostr is a decentralized platform, in order to update anything, in order to make any sort of change, you need dev consensus.
Yes.
It takes forever.
Yes.
For the amount of updates we did in 3 days, because we are centralized in our platform, we did about 20 updates in 3 days.
Yes.
For Nostr to do 20 updates, it would take them 3 months.
Yes. And so that's the centralization argument versus decentralization argument in my mind is a moot point. And the reason is because at the end of the day, you need viability, you need traction, and you need use cases. And to retard and slow down your ability to iterate and create very quick cycle times of feedback to delivery, ship and product, centralization always makes sense in the very beginning, because speed is of the essence. Making those changes is of the essence. And so I think people who have been with the Matt Kim podcast for a long time have known that we've been noodling on this for years now about how can we find a better system. And what I can appreciate, having obviously been here throughout the entirety of this kind of thought experiment, is that Matt has never jumped and executed on or made decisions to use other platforms. We've talked about it. We've bridged those gaps a couple times, but you've always been ridiculously patient for the right timing, the right network, the right people to come along to help build the right thing that made sense for you. And if I may, and I'm a little bit of a conceit here, I've pressured Matt multiple times on like, dude, let's just do this and let's just do this. I even created a deck, right? A full presentation, like pitch deck of like, hey, we should consider this. We've met with other individuals from around the world, talking from some guys from California talking about, building applications. So what I really love about Soju and what I really love about this manifestation of this idea over the last couple of years is that it was thoughtful, it was not rushed, and it's something that absolutely aligns to the core vision and mission and purpose of the Matt Kim podcast. So like, as much as I could be frustrated about the speed that it didn't happen in, I'm excited that it's here. We're launched. We have over 1,300 people on the app. So, 1,300 people in a couple days is fantastic traction. So keep going, Matt.
Yeah, right now it is a website. We will develop a standalone app that is in the roadmap. Also, there will be a end-to-end encrypted DM feature. We got to do that. We don't want to use Signal's protocol. Everyone uses Signal protocol. Don't want to use Signal protocol. I want to just build it out so that we can ensure that no one ever has the data. I think that's the most important in end-to-end encryption, is that if at some point it passes through, someone can always give it up.
Now, we can never ever remove the screenshot issue.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, at the core, we can ensure that your data is not going to be shared with the entire globe.
Correct. We also do not collect any personal data. You sign up with email, that's it. That's by design. Good. We do not want anything. If a government agency shows up one day, it's like, oh, well, we need to know. I'm like, we don't have anything.
Yep, we got emails.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's all we have.
Yep, we got emails.
We don't have anything. Like, well, we need to know we need to know this information. Everything that on the app is public. It's all on there.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Exactly.
Go look through the site all you want. It's
Exactly.
public. It's out there. We don't have any data to give you. And that's extremely intentional by design. We can't give up data we don't have.
Yeah.
And what we found out in building this thing is that when social media companies and these platforms build out their platforms, they don't have to actually collect data. No. They choose to collect your data.
Of course.
It doesn't provide any value to the system at all, actually. I don't need it. We don't need it to run a functional site.
You're not trying to leverage their behavior patterns to advertise to them.
They collect it because they want to monetize your data. You are the product.
Yes.
We don't collect any data.
Yes.
Meaning that you can come after us all you want. I don't have anything to give you.
Yeah. The response is read the bloody thread.
Yeah. I don't have anything to give you. And I think that's the same thing for end-to-end encryption DMs. If I don't have any data, I can't give you the data.
Yeah. And that's actually the best excuse you want.
Yeah. And people are like, oh, how do we know you're going to sell? What am I going to sell? I don't have anything.
Yeah. There's nothing here.
I don't have the data to give them.
Guys, don't forget. The Matt Kim podcast has a philosophical undergirding and stance of absolutely never making a fucking dollar, ever. We never want to make any money. It's Matt Kim's purpose in life to ensure that the Matt Kim podcast, with me, for some reason, goes on for decades, and we never earn a fucking dollar, guys. Please, somebody save me, Sar. Somebody, please. Sar, where are you, Sar? Sar!
So obviously he's got a little bit of pent up discontent with that model.
Sar, please, Sar, come on, Sar. Aren't there some rich Sars out there that are like, rich Sars? Come on, Sar, please.
But the idea, so right now we have the end-to-end encrypted that's going to come. The app's going to come. The DM feature is going to come. And we are going to build an integrated media player. We already have that aside. All we got to do is integrate the two. So that's going to come later, but we don't want to add that now. Future updates.
So some might ask, Matt, you substantiated an app, You've manifested your glory. After all these couple of years of noodling on it, what's the end goal?
So the end goal is that we're actually going to create a security token around it.
Ooh.
And we are going to decentralize the ownership. So I don't want to own it long term.
As you shouldn't.
I don't
That
want.
seems like a honeypot issue.
I don't want to own it. I don't want to control it at all. I think that in order for this to sustain forever, is that it needs to be created, and all the members or whoever wants to participate in the community, they should have ownership of it. Meaning, you will have the ability to vote on issues. You will be able to vote on leadership. You will be able to vote on the direction of the app moving forward. And once it's out there, that's it. All we have to do is ensure that it doesn't get taken down. And it's built so light that we can move it anytime. We're eventually going to move on to our own servers.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take it. Matt is germinating this in-house at the Matt Kim podcast to let it be free as a bird in the future so that the world can own it and can never be taken down. I like that idea a lot.
I think the world needs its own digital town square.
Why not Soju?
Every single what they call digital town squares are owned by billionaires, owned by hedge funds, owned by even Reddit is owned by like Sam Altman.
I know.
Sam Altman owns Reddit. Can you think about that a second? Sam Altman is one of the majority shareholders of Reddit and uses all that data to train his language model.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do that, man.
X is owned by Elon and Mark Andreessen and
The Department of Defense.
and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia
And Palantir.
and P. Diddy.
Not wrong. We got evil people in that. Yep.
It is just a bunch of tech oligarchs that own everything that you say do online.
So are you saying that the social media apparatus around us is owned by a bunch of degenerates?
Exactly.
Dadgummit. Maybe there's a reason why there's so much smut and so much crap on these social media networks.
So the idea is to build this thing, get it to adoption, and once we get to adoption, decentralize the ownership so that no one person ever owns it.
And we still don't make money.
And we have no place for advertisement. We have no monetization plan at all, actually.
Of course. Of course.
But I think that's important because if you think most businesses that start their business, their focus is monetization. The monetization guides the building of the platform. We're building this a way where we are not thinking about monetization at all. Therefore, it doesn't influence the building of the platform. The platform needs to be built the way it's built. And then if it's built properly, monetization opportunities will come. We don't have to think about that, actually.
Please, Sar. Please come soon, Sar.
We are not thinking about it. We are not focused on it. We're just going to build it the way that we think it should be done, the way that we think is necessary for humanity, necessary for the world. Put it out there. Let it live. It's its own living, breathing ecosystem online. And no one can take it down because there's no one to go after for owning it.
Man, it sucks that helping humanity has no monetization value.
Opportunities come out of opportunities, you know? It's just not what I think if we thought about how we
I'm giving Matt shit. He knows this is my trope, but that's what makes us such a great team. We're balanced on both sides, right? We can look at it from both perspectives, and at the end of the day, we're doing the world a solid. That is the mission, and that's going to drive everything. So
I truly believe that a global digital town square is necessary for humanity.
And I pray to God that this works, and I pray to God that it grows, and I pray to God it gets to the point of decentralization where the world sees the imminent use and value of it, and it will be a mainstay. And if I could go even farther, in manifesting a potential glorious reality, it would be that you've created a legacy far beyond your death.
And
I like that idea.
yeah,
I like that a lot.
it's different.
Yeah.
And the reality is that there's no competitor for it because no one would ever do it that way. It's actually not the best business idea.
It's probably not the best business idea because there's no monetary incentive attached, guys. That's why it's not a good business idea.
It's just built, put it out to the world, and it
a-
becomes its own thing.
But what it just popped in my mind, I downloaded this from the Divine Matrix. It's a human tool.
Yeah.
I like the idea that just popped in my head. It's a human enablement tool. We're not here to suck you dry of your data. We're not here to monetize your clicks. We're not here to extract from you, your time. We want to give you a human tool that'll allow you to see the world in a better light, to have conversations that matter, maybe even make a tribe and make connections that are worthwhile, and maybe just maybe at the tip of the end of all of this, maybe just maybe make the world just a little bit of a better place. That sounds good to me. I'll take that.
So open up your browser, go online, go to www.soj.ooO, www.soj.ooO. Sign in, register. We do have a free Thinkers Pocha that's dedicated to the community of the pod. There are people hanging out there already. It's the most active one.
Yeah, make
right
sure
now.
that you check in, SAR.
Go check in SAR, create your profile, go online, figure it out. We also made it so that you could have animated GIFs as your profile picture, which is fun.
Ooh, pooflingers.
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see on the database back end a sign in of SAR, and then SAR 1, SAR 2, SAR 3, SAR 4. And
A check in SAR button?
Yeah. And then when we get to SAR 69, that's where nice.
Nice.
Check in SAR.
So, yeah, this is all I've been doing for the last, I don't know how long.
Probably feels like forever.
Feels like forever, but it's been really exciting. And do you know what the most interesting thing about this whole process has been? It's how many levers of power and manipulation that we're realizing we can build if we chose to do so.
Wait. Let me back up.
It's so easy to do, actually.
Are you saying that as an app developer and a product designer now, that you have a deeper appreciation for the levers that you can pull as you create these applications to suck dry humanity of all of their value?
Yeah, I mean, not to sound blasphemous, but it's like being a digital god. You're literally creating a world. And in your world, you can decide what does what, who interacts with who. You can build in levers to make sure that for example, I could automatically make it so that when you join, everyone just follows me.
Oh, hey, Tom. How are you? From MySpace.
It'd be so easy to do. It's like, boom, done. Every single person that joins follows me.
You should do that because Tom did that and that was okay.
That's not okay.
It was cool, though. I wanted to be friends with Tom.
Because if you build in the mechanism in order to allow those things to happen, even if we don't take advantage of it, the next person will. The only way to prevent the manipulation of systems and the only way to prevent the overusing of levers of power is to make sure that they don't ever exist to begin with.
Are you saying good behavior? You want to reward good behavior?
In order to remove the bad behavior, you have to make it impossible for that bad behavior to be done to begin with. Because I'm like, all right, if I was Elon, and I don't want to sound like crazy, if I was Elon and I had an app like X and I had 30 million people on it every day, and I had the ability to make people think what I think, made the ability to see what I see, made everyone if I had the ability to make sure that everyone talked about what I want to talk about, like, I may want to do that too.
It would be
I spent $20 billion to buy it. I want to use it the way I see fit. I bought it. It's my toy.
It is your toy, and you can use your toy however you want.
So how do you prevent that?
I mean,
You just have to make sure that those levers are never installed to begin with. That's the only way it actually works.
Yeah, because man is weak.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
You can't have the tool around you.
Man is weak.
You can't walk around with, like, I don't know, 5 hot chicks all the time and think that you're always going to stay faithful. Like, that's not a good idea, actually, because it's tempting.
Are you saying that having merely the optionality to do evil at your disposal is a temptation that most men will not stay away from over time? Is that you're saying that if Elon Musk has the ability to go God mode, that he's never going to hit that button
and knock up conservative influencers?
Well, I told you, after you kiss the wall and you hump the wall, magic happens.
I think it's
Babies come out of it. Mossad babies.
Mossad babies. Seriously.
Can we just take a side note on this? How crazy this is. That it's 13th kid?
Yes.
13th kid with
5 women.
But the timing. He goes to Israel, he humps the wall, and suddenly there's money transactions to certain individuals, and some of those certain individuals connect with Elon Musk, and poof, a baby is created. I feel like this is very Epstein-esque type of stuff. Or am I off base here, Matt?
And this girl, who was just a girl online, all of a sudden becomes one of the largest and most influential accounts on X.
And she kind of loses her shit though when she's like posting, like flame posting, being like, Elon, I've been trying to connect with you, man.
All fairness, she's pretty cute.
Not really. No, not at all. I disagree with you 100%.
No.
Not even. She's like a 5 or 6.
Really?
You like brunettes?
Ashley St. Clair, not cute?
No.
Oh, I don't know, bro.
No.
I think it's a
No,
comment time.
guys, let us know.
Hot or not?
Hot or not. Let
Hot
us
or
know.
not.
Ashley
Wow.
St. Clair in the chat. Let us know.
Wow, controversial take.
This is, you think she's hot?
I think she's like a solid 7.4.
7.4. What's the threshold for hotness? Isn't that 8 and above?
I think 8 is like hot. 8 and above is hot. 7 is like, I'd do it.
Somebody clip that right now, guys. So that was Matt's conceit right there. I do it. No. I think she's a 5, a 5 or 6, maybe.
Whoa,
6.
whoa. I think that's
Not even. Not even. No way. No way. I'm not into brunettes though, so maybe that's a bias. I'm not into that.
He only likes blondes.
No, I like Korean people. I like the Korean ladies.
But it's been really interesting because you get to see all the levers that you can build, that you can kind of manipulate if you choose to do so. And the fact that you have to remove them in order that they don't exist to begin with. And in order to, I think those levers and manipulation, if you want to do it, that should happen at the people level because people always figure out how to game systems.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually fair. That's fine. I believe that's fine.
It should. Absolutely, it's fine.
People have the ability to self-organize. People have the rules in place of what's allowed, and then they game it to make it beneficial to them. That's natural. That's okay. It's when the leadership does it, it's unfair.
Yeah. Well, it's the gray areas that innovation happens. Innovation never happens in the black and the white.
I believe that true leaders, the best leaders, operate under the premise of selfless sacrifice, meaning that they have to be willing to give the powers to the people and not exert those same powers themselves.
Say that again. That was well stated.
And the problem is that all of our leaders in the world take the powers and use it for their own benefit, and they remove it from the people. It's actually the exact opposite of how things should work in my world.
And in my world too. And we typically see that. We see this naive passion, this naive purpose, and that purpose and that self-sacrificial, right? Because the naive passion and that naive purpose creates just enough to germinate and grow this idea, and that naive passion allows them to have that self-sacrifice to make this thing grow. And then what we always find is after money is involved, and maybe even the little tiny hats are involved, things begin to shift and change, and now we end up with a Jack Dorsey, right, who we used to all love and respect for everything that he's kind of was on the bleeding edge of, but now he seems like he's just another part of the chess game.
I think Jack Dorsey's coming back, actually.
Do you think so? Well,
I think so.
You mean just like Zuckerberg came back?
Of all of them, I feel like Jack is currently the most interesting to me.
Yeah, well, my point still stands, is that there often is an evolution, or maybe even a de-evolution of these individuals with their naive passion and their self-sacrificing of building ideas, and then it gets co-opted, it gets converted, and it becomes a complete manifestation of something that it never was intended to be, and now it's a control system for humanity, not a freedom tool. Ooh, actually, I like that.
A freedom tool.
Soju is a freedom tool.
Freedom tool.
I like that. Can we do
Coin that?
It's a freedom tool.
A lot of people have messaged me saying, Matt, like you have your views. How can you prevent your views from being interjected into the application? And the reality is that my voice is not any louder or any more important than anybody else. Like, you actually have to build it that way. Again, it's about making sure that the levers of power don't exist to begin with.
Can I give you some advice? I think, and you don't have to do this, but I think if you would want to ensure that your voice is never a deep anchor bias within the system, then this is just coming from me, you never make a post that's a statement. You only make posts that are questions, which is philosophically and value aligned to the Matt Kim podcast. We are the podcast that is willing to ask the questions about things that other people aren't willing to talk about. And we get little birds who tell us amazing things about what's going on in the world, and we're willing to talk about them. And so I think that is not only aligned to our thesis of who the Matt Kim podcast is, but we have lived that thesis over the last couple years. We asked the questions. So I'm not telling you what to do, but I would say to keep yourself blameless in that system. If you were to only post and ensure that every post had a question mark in the end of it, then it's never you telling the world. It's you asking what's going on.
Well, once we get adoption, I'm not going to have any power anyway. I want to shit post too. You know what I mean?
Guys, at the end of the day,
I just want to shit post like everybody else.
the base of the base,
I'm just building it.
he's just a degen like all
Once
of us.
it gets built, it's going to be out in the world. I'm not going to have control of it. And because I don't have control of it, my voice is equal to your voice is equal to your voice. It's all the same.
I can't wait for your first shit post.
And come in, and if I post something and you don't like it, just flame me. That's fine. This is what you're supposed to do.
Hey, you bump it down.
You cannot. I don't like the idea that, especially what Elon does, is if someone comes in and ratios him, he's like, "Oh yeah, you're gone, you're banned."
Bro.
That's such bullshit, by
Yeah,
the way.
That's
I can't believe he does that.
It's so lame.
It's like the weakest thing I've ever seen. People come in, ratio him, give a like a small account, will say something, he gets really upset, and he just bans them.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as hooking up with an influencer on X. Like who would do just such a degenerate act?
So definitely go check out Soju. I think it's cool. I really do believe that it's gonna make a difference in humanity. It's gonna make a difference in our lives. That it's gonna be a place where the world has conversations that's not controlled by the tech oligarchy, that is human focused and human centric, not AI driven. And I think this is actually very much needed. And again, the goal is to put it out there and let it do its thing.
I love it, guys. Make sure that you go to soj.ooO. That is the place to check out the Matt Kim experiment and project in action.
Appreciate it. That said, it's, you know, like, in thinking about Soju, a lot of the ideas come from the idea that blockchain was supposed to solve certain use cases in life.
Supposed to.
Bitcoin was created to be a currency, to get out of the main centralized currency system.
It was called a digital cash system on page 2 of the Bitcoin white paper.
And for some reason, crypto went up, blockchain use went up. The use cases that it was supposed to solve didn't get solved.
Yes and no, yes and no.
So that's a lot of what I think about. And I think the best example of that is what happened in the last 4 or 5 days with Javier Milei.
Oh no. Did Javier Milei take the Trump coin and Melania coin to its extreme? Is that what happened?
For a quick recap, Javier Milei came out on his Twitter and he said, "We are starting a coin and it's called Libra and it is going to support Argentina and this is amazing and blah, 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 blah." And he posted it.
Yep.
The coin goes whoop up and like that, boom, crashed on everyone. It may be the biggest rug. And the word rug is now used pretty liberally, just to clarify.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean intent any longer. Rug means if it's going and it crashes on you, that is the new definition because people redefine words of rug.
Well, rug just means that you have no idea why you lost your ass 15 seconds after you made that post.
Yes.
Or made that purchase.
And people got demolished on that coin. I mean, it went up to a $4 billion market cap and it crashed to like 500,000 or whatever the number is within seconds.
So I saw a video that made me laugh, but at the same time made me self-conscious. And the video was a guy, it was a short clip, and he basically said, I was on the Trump coin, I got rugged, and then I got the Milei coin, and then I needed to make all my money back, so I did the Libra coin. and I was like, bro, have you not learned your lesson, number one? But then number two, I felt self-conscious because I was like, man, I kind of feel for this guy.
Yeah.
Like, he lost his ass on Trump. I don't know how much he lost on Melania, but then he lost the rest of his savings on Libra. Like, I don't know how to feel, Matt. Should I feel bad for him? What do you think?
I struggle with that.
Should I feel bad for this guy?
Because there's a lot of things that happen in the background in order for these things to happen. But I did watch Milei on an interview he did because there's so much pressure. People are so mad at him.
Oh, as they should be.
And he goes on this interview in Argentina. He goes, it's your fault if you lose money in a casino. I was like, what a dick.
Oh, and so you have no culpability because you created this casino?
And he's like, I didn't endorse it. I just spread the message.
Oh,
I
so
was like, what the fuck? What are we talking about here? You tweeted it on your Twitter.
so tweeting it is not an endorsement?
No. And he's like, it's not the president page. It's my personal page, so it doesn't count. I was like, dude.
That's even worse.
This guy is
That's your personal page.
This guy is just spinning right now. And the lawyers came in like, no, you can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that. And they cut it.
So do you think he's going to be in hot water?
No.
Or do you think he's going to get away with it like Trump?
He's going to get away with it.
So what is the precedent that's being set here, Matt? Is this a new thing? Is this what's going to happen? Are we going to have all these presidents and all these famous people dropping these Milei coins, these Trump coins? Is that the narrative and the timeline that we're in?
Well, I struggle with this one because I do see a use case for meme coins.
We've
had this conversation.
You made good sound logic there, yeah.
It's going to be the tokenization of internet culture. It has potentially the ability to let creators monetize their brand without all these other people like coming in and taking a percentage, right? So I see where the use case is. I see how it can be a valuable tool for certain people.
Yes.
The problem is that all the ones we hear about are these crazy dumps. And I don't think people understand how many insiders are involved in a meme coin.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You guys think this is some random happening? No, this is calculated in a lot of ways.
But there are insiders that know what's going to happen before. They plan it. They plan the snipes. They get ready early. Their intent is to rug you and steal your money. But I don't know if it's stealing your money if it's not regulated. It's deregulated. You know, it's buyer beware. Everyone knows that. So if you lose your money knowing that, is it still their fault? I don't know.
Well, the reality is that, and I'll just kind of unpack what you just said. You made a good argument on our other podcast, which you should probably watch, guys, in that, and I love the way you said it. It's monetizing internet culture. It's right, monetizing internet culture. And if I can take the financial vantage point, it is a fundraising mechanism for creators. Fair enough. The problem is the primary use case for this funding mechanism for creators is that the negative use case or the rug pull use case is the only one that's getting airtime and play, and it's the one that's getting all of the optics and all of the clicks. So maybe an application like Soju would ensure that these clickbait items would not rise to the top, but the real use cases in this example of monetizing internet culture would rise to the top, and people would actually see legitimate projects being done. Yeah?
Interesting way. I think a lot of people say the meme coins are taking advantage of you. The few insiders have the ability to get in early and they make all the money.
Oh, yeah.
The reality, it's same for IPOs. It's same for pretty much every other financial market we have.
No doubt.
The argument would be that at least in meme coins, you as the retail investor have a chance, where in IPO, you have zero chance. IPO, you have zero chance because the VCs that got involved early, they already have it before it's even released.
Yeah.
They are way before you.
They're called discounted shares.
At least when you do a meme coin, you can get in minute one.
You think you can. There's still machinations and individuals behind the scene, but yes, it is open to the public and retail because you don't have accredited investor constraints.
And it is maybe not everyone that has a fair shot because, again, it is manipulated.
It is.
But your percentage of success may actually be higher in a meme coin than it is in an IPO.
Oh, well, definitely factual in every essence, because to get an IPO, you have to jump through a lot of hurdles to be able to have access to that. And if you jump through all those hurdles, you're going to be third tier or fourth tier anyway on the list.
And if you're not tier one, because tier one, ding, 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 drop, boom, drop, sell out, we got money,
Exactly.
and they're done.
Preferred shares.
You never had a chance.
Preferred shares. Yeah.
Never had a chance.
Never had a chance.
Zero
You're going to
chance.
ride it all the way up and watch it go all the way down.
But at least in meme coins, you have the ability to maybe make a shot. Because
So-
there are like a bunch of young kids that trade meme coins that made a lot of money. They exist in the world.
It exists. And so, we started with this Milei topic. So Milei rugged, and he's now spinning his wheels in the mud, and he's got marketing, and he's got his optics guys, and he's got his, brand people and lawyers trying to help him figure this out. But in your estimation, Matt, would you foresee that this is going to be a common thread that's going to happen from other leaders around the world? Is this going to be something that we're unfortunately going to have to be talking about every other month or something like this? Because, January was Trump and Melania. February is Javier Milei. What's March going to be? Who's going to rug pull next?
And I don't understand why. I don't understand why this is in the news cycle so long. It's actually really curious to me.
Well,
because Milei is kind of on their side.
Yeah.
Milei is on the globalist leader side. Milei was on their side. But for some reason, they're letting him hang.
Well,
why are they not coming to save him and protect him? Why are they letting the crypto world tear him apart?
Well,
where's the cover? Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting. So there's two ways that I would look at this. Number one, if it's has a lot of playtime, you and I already know we need to look somewhere else. Something else is happening. So that's number one. But number two, we know that the globalists are satanic. And so therefore, eating their own is not something that they care about. Like for them to eat their own for the greater evil that they'd like to have, put up across the world, for them, that is no concern of them. So I see this to be actually right and fair within the worldview that I believe that they have, which is, yes, he's part of the cabal. Yes, he's part of the globalist agenda. But at the same time, he's just a pawn like everybody else.
Because I've been watching the interviews of this kid, Hayden, who is the one that kind of architected the entire situation and bringing in all the different pieces to make sure it happens. And I'm watching interviews with him, and I'm going, there is no way in hell I would ever trust this guy. This guy's the worst.
So could you say then that people
How did so many people fall for him? Even Portnoy is oh yeah, this guy was the best, and then now he's not. And Portnoy has been really weird in the meme coin thing.
Yeah. We remember these men never act alone. There are handlers, there are handlers of handlers, and then there's the money exchangers who use the handlers to make sure that people like Javier Milei and toe the right rope and toe the right line. And so at the end of the day, you have to consider where's the money coming from and who is handling him. If this guy Hayden is doing all the handling, then maybe he is he's the Ghislaine Maxwell of the entire situation, yeah?
Possibly. It's been
they're all bought and paid off, brother. We know this. With USAID, USAID, right? With USAID, we're clearly seeing that everyone's on the take, everyone's being paid off, everyone that you thought was noble and everyone that you thought was unblemished, they're all on the take. They're all part of the same narrative, the same machine, the war machine that is pushing all this negativity into our public square, brother. It's all the same, man. We're seeing that now. I think people are waking up to this idea.
I think the idea that one idea that I think is really interesting is how that Chinese guy used the blockchain in order to get out a message.
Yes. Should we talk about this?
Yes, can you?
Yes. So I'll bring up a couple details here right quick. This thing crossed my path. It was so intriguing. So I'm going to read this out. And I did a little bit of digging. You guys can check it out. Someone burnt 500 ETH, which is $1.4 million, to spread a message in Chinese. First off, number one, you don't spend $1.4 million to make a message to the world undeletable. That must mean the message is worth something. And the message is this, quote, the bosses of Kunde Investment, Feng Xin and Zhu Yuxi, used brain-machine weapons to persecute all the company employees and former employees as they themselves are also controlled. Brain-computer chips have been militarized and deployed on a large scale, and all military powers are using base stations, radios, and nano-brain computer chips to control all citizens. So, the question you have to ask yourself, would you spend $1.4 million, Matt, to tell the world that the Chinese government and Chinese telecom companies are brain chipping employees and the entire population?
Can we just refresh that real quick? A person spent $1.4 million in order to let the world know, and it's not deletable, not censorable. He spent $1.4 million to get one message out.
On chain. It's never going away.
The Chinese are brain chipping, and they're controlling us.
Yes.
That was his message. Wow.
Many questions arise from this, right? What's happening? Are people... Wait, but we know that people are being brain chipped from this nanotechnology. We know that this mRNA nanotechnology is self-replicating in some ways, and it also is self-organizing in some ways. You've probably seen the videos. So I do not feel like we're far off from this matrix where it truly is. We truly live in a world, a timeline where people are being manipulated and controlled by small little nanotech. It makes sense to me, man. We're there.
If you had to define a whistleblower, this is a whistleblower.
This is a whistleblower. They clearly value their life more than their money.
Yes.
Because most people value the message more than their life, and they don't have money, which is why they somehow delete themselves with 2 shotgun blasts or maybe even a shot to the head from top down, missing the brain.
Referencing the OpenAI whistleblower,
Right.
who somehow blew his brains out at this angle.
Yes, at this angle. SAR. Not very smart, SAR. And so I know I'm being facetious here, but don't misunderstand the point. There's an equation for whistleblowers. The equation is simply this. Is your story true? Number 2, do you value your life? And number 3, do you have money? In most cases, they have a story that's true, they value their life, but they don't have money, which is why they end up becoming deleted. And so this individual has a story. Is it true? Who knows? Number 2, does he value or she value their life? Absolutely. And number 3, are they willing to put the money towards it? $1.4 million to put a message out on a blockchain that is immutable and undeletable for all time and memoriam? I think this guy is truly a whistleblower.
Okay. So let's work under the premise that what he's saying is true. He spent a lot of money. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Hey, $1.4 million to get a message out. Loud, heard, clear.
Yeah.
We'll operate under the premise for this moment, for this exercise, that what he's saying is true.
Fair enough.
The Chinese are brain chipping certain individuals and controlling them.
Yes.
Okay. Are they doing it here?
Yes. 100%. Absolutely, Matt. Are they doing it in America? Let's be specific. Yes, 100%.
Because if the technology exists in China, it exists here.
100%.
We know that Elon is working on Neuralink in order to help people play video games. But the reality is that if you could do it there, what are we missing?
I saw a meme, and it's so true. Neuralink is just a way for guys to masturbate easier. Seriously, why do you need to even why use your hands? Why use any lotion?
Half the guys are going, sign me up, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Why do I need to even work at this? All I have to do is go and it's like ejaculation achieved.
Dude, can you imagine what your life would be like if in your brain it was just 24-hour Pornhub?
Dude, You'd be walking around with an ephemeral boner.
Or would you go away?
You'd probably get desensitized.
You'd have to get this. It would totally rewire your brain, probably, actually.
You'd become trans.
Is that how they start?
You'd cut your dick off.
Is that how they start?
Think about this. If you're so inundated with prawn 24/7, you no longer have anything that works down there. And so, since nothing works down there anymore, you might as well get rid of it.
And it doesn't even have to be the visuals because it's in your brain.
Yeah.
They can just give you the feeling.
Yeah.
So you don't even know that's where you're getting it
Yeah,
from.
so you don't even need the dick.
They could literally drive people crazy.
Yes. And some would say with nanoparticles that are self-organizing that respond to radio signals in water, and we're 80% water, that radio signals from like, I don't know, 5G towers or something like this could create interesting, let's just say, outcomes in these bioflesh suits that we are in. So I'm curious, Matt, people might say, oh, Peter, you'll go conspiracy. Brother, we have states that are now banning all of the poison that they're putting into our air. We have Department of Defense videos and commercials showing that they do have space lasers. Like, trust me, guys. If China has proven that they released an mRNA bioweapon to the world. So for someone to say, no, they ain't microchipping, they're not using nanotech. Brother, you stupid.
I've talked about this before. I've had the opportunity to be on these kind of coastal islands of the United States, like the West Palm Beach or kind of like these types of really where all the billionaires live. The most expensive real estate areas within the country. And what I've noticed in going to those areas is that they don't have 5G. You go over the bridge and you have 5G. But on these little islands, and it's not a money issue because they can afford to build a 5G tower if they want it.
Oh, no problem.
Just because you're rich doesn't mean you don't want fast internet. If anything, you demand faster internet. They're willing to give up convenience for what? It's almost like they know something.
It's almost like we want to ensure that the masses have access to high-speed internet so we can constantly send them great messages about how their lives are going to be better. And the rich people out way in the countryside with only access to 3G, they're of no concern of ours. Is that what you're saying? We don't have to worry about them being mind controlled because they're off on the land, right?
This idea of brain chipping is really concerning.
You dig down that rabbit hole deep enough like I did through this thread and the couple of threads that I read, it seems more than probable, Sar, that it is not only being fully utilized and exacted in today's society, but in most cases, they're farther than we imagine.
And the scariest part of brain chips is that a huge percentage of the population will eventually do it.
No doubt. No doubt.
And what it's going to do is going to create two classes of people, chipped and non-chipped.
Don't we already have two classes of people thanks to the mRNA?
True.
The purebloods and the nons?
And what's going to happen is that if you are in a field that requires a database of knowledge, you are never going to hire someone non-chipped. If I am in a legal battle and I need a good attorney, I'm hiring the chipped attorney to fight against your non-chipped attorney because I will win. If I need a surgeon, I want the chipped surgeon that has the schematics in his brain, or he can just download them or get a custom one specifically for me. I want him working on me over the non one that's relying on his memory.
That's true. That's like Neo. I know Kung Fu.
But I don't want to do it. I don't want to be involved in it. But you're going to see a necessity and reason to have it.
So you just want to benefit from all the androids out there. You don't actually want to become one yourself.
Okay, then how do you solve that? I've actually thought about this.
Well, I already know the equation.
Okay.
We've talked about this before. The equation is very simple. Privacy for convenience. That's the equation every time. We choose convenience over privacy every time, right? We would rather have the convenience of being able to have access to A, B, and C than our privacy, which requires us to fill out forms to get what we want, right? And so the equation in everyday society, every person every day makes this decision: do I want convenience or privacy? And so, in your scenario there, you will choose the convenience over privacy.
No. What I think was going to be a huge trend, I think it's going to be the biggest trend and maybe the biggest market, will be that people who have money, power, or influence, or a combination of three, what they will do is that they will start getting chipped servants.
Of course.
That makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
I don't want to stall my brain because I don't know what's going to do. What if someone presses the kill switch? Because there's always a kill switch.
Yes.
Like we started in the beginning,
Yes.
when you build out technology, there are levers of power that you can choose to put in.
Mm-hmm.
And 99.9% of companies, even though they say they won't use it, they build those in.
The temptation is too great.
They're going to build in kill switches.
Oh, bro. Absolutely.
Okay. I don't want that. What a lot of people are going to feel the same way. A lot of people are going to do is they're going to start getting, we'll call them chipped indentured servants. You find a kid, find a person that has potential, you offer to pay for their chipping, you bring them in, they do your chipped work for you,
Nice.
you have the kill switch, so they can't leave you,
Nice.
and then maybe after 10 years, if you're a good owner,
Well, if you're a good cis male, right? Chipped indentured servant. Now we get to reuse the cis male.
if you are a good owner of said indentured servant, I don't want to say the other word, but it's really what that is, you may offer to let them free. This is going to be the future, I believe, which is crazy.
Because you're totally right.
Yeah, it's crazy. isn't it?
You're like sometimes I have sometimes I have moments where I'm absolutely blown away at where Matt's brain goes, because sometimes I think I'm smart. Sometimes I think I'm sophisticated. Sometimes I think I can pull on threads and extract ideas. But what Matt just said is absolutely the dark mirror, is the black mirror, is the carbon black, whatever that other show was. Absolutely 100%. The rich people will not get chipped, just like Apple president Steve Jobs, just like the Microsoft president.
Doesn't let them use iPads. Don't let them use their
That's what I was about to say. Bill Gates is on record, same with Steve Jobs, on record saying, we do not give our children iPads and iPhones and these mobile devices. Why? Because they're dangerous for children and their biology growing up. And so, of course, the rich people are not going to get chipped. Of course, the rich people are not going to use these mobile devices that are giving us cancer. Of course, they're not going to do that. They're going to get indentured servants that will serve them under duress and stress of a kill switch.
Yes.
Brother, you are ingenious.
It for sure is going to happen that way. And do you know what?
That's
There's a lot
it.
of people in the world that are like, sign me up. Because in 10 years, they said I can be free.
Well,
They're not going to let you free. They never do, by the way.
You're only going to sign up because on LinkedIn, it's only going to accept chipped applications, right? He's part of that. He's part of that.
They're going to go after the unsophisticated and say, we will pay for your chip.
No. The mayors are going to get on TV and they're going to say, eat this burger with fries and you get a free chipping.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we're going to have Stephen Colbert jumping up and down in a dancing chip instead of a syringe going, get chipped today for your burger and your small peen, because you won't need that anymore as we cut it off, because you're going to be so inundated with smut, you won't need your peen. Guys, like, I'm taking Matt's idea string and pulling on it, and you're so right, bro. You're so right. Rich people don't do this shit. They know too much.
Yes.
They will pay for the access at someone else's detriment. That's how it always works.
And it will create a third class of citizen.
Ooh.
Because now you have
The chipped and the unchipped.
Well, you have the chipped indentured servitudes. You have the chipped bots for the poor.
And then the masters.
And then you have the masters.
Oh, yeah.
Some people will get the AI bot. It's not as good as a chipped human.
Yes. But it is $15,000 cheaper.
Exactly. You can get the retail version of the robot that will do a few things, or you can get a human to do it.
Yeah. The human doesn't take too kindly when you ask it to yank on your pee-pee, but the bot is easy. You just say, yank here.
it's going to create this, and it sounds crazy.
I know I'm in crazy land right now, but you're so right and so wrong at the same time.
It's this crazy dystopian future that is literally knocking on our door, by the way.
It's here.
It's so close, if not here. We just don't see it yet.
Have you gone down the rabbit hole of the clones? Have you gone down that?
A little bit.
A little bit? What do you think? What do you think? Let's talk about the clones. Because the clones are here, guys. The clones are here. Like, we already know. Okay, so let's back up.
Okay, they have the technology.
Let's go one step back even further. We clearly know that there are masks being used all the time.
Yes.
All the time. We've seen Trump masks. We've seen Biden masks. We've seen fill-in-the-blank masks. It's clear you got this double, get out of here, right? There's clear body doubles are real. So we all can concede and accept that fact that body doubles are real. We've seen enough evidence. It's happening all the time. We've also seen curious evidence, Matt, about non-masks, but dadgummit, they look pretty clonish. And if I may, the one that has not freaked me out, but the one that has made me the most curious is the whole Jamie Foxx clone. Have you seen that? Have you gone down that rabbit hole?
It's crazy.
You don't remove tattoos on your head, bro. So, I don't know. What do you think? Are clones among us? Are we there, Matt?
I mean, the technology exists.
It does. It does.
All these guys that are invested in AI are also invested in things like CRISPR. So it's the same. That's the thing, is that when you talk about dystopian future, the same names pop up in every single industry. It's like 10 guys that are involved in all of it. Bill Gates, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Mark Andreessen, Bill Gates. Like, it's this, I don't know if I said that name already. It's the same people that are involved in the entire, it's all of it.
And they're not close to our current president, are they? They're not advising our chief.
It's so crazy. It's like we are so close to the dystopian future. The same people are in charge of all of it. And we're talking about gene editing and gene technology and AI and robots and brain chips. And so much levers of control are being built around us everywhere.
And at a speed that is uncalculable. Like, these guys are delivering this stuff so quickly.
Yeah. Almost like they have chipped people working for them.
Maybe this Chinaman who put this $1.4 million message on the Ethereum first layer blockchain is telling us something, Matt. What do you think?
I wish you would have dropped it on Soju.
Sar, it's time for you to check in. Let's go.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.